Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. This is the missing case of Nicola Bulley, although she was found 23 days later in the River Wye, that's in St. Michael's, Lancashire. Nicola was reported missing on the 27th of January. She was last seen at 9:15 near the River Torpart on Garston Road. And the timelines started changing a couple of weeks later. And that is honesty. It changed completely. The timings changed. The locations change and the witnesses change too. Some were witnesses and some said that they weren't witnesses, that they did not see Nicola Bulley that day, that fatal morning. The poster on the tree near the bench clearly says that Nicola was missing at 9:15 near the River Torpart, but the whole poster, from when you look at it on top, it starts with it's written in blue: missing, have you seen Nicola Bulley? Last seen at a home in Inskip. So if she was missing from St. Michael's on Wye, I don't understand the necessity for them to mention that she was missing from Inskip. I even thought of it as it could be a slip of the tongue, and that not even a slip of the tongue, that was just an innocent mistake they made. But why would you have that wrong timelining on 4 different places? On the tree, near the bench, you have that on the caravan side parking, you have that on the other side of Garston Road. I counted, you have that in 4 places. And it's still on the tree if it hasn't been taken down now. The first police conference by Superintendent Sally Riley, she clearly said that Nicola was missing at 9:15. She didn't only say it once, she said it twice at a press conference, 2 different press conferences. The third time is when things started changing. It was changed from Nicola being last seen near the River Torpart to Nicola's mobile device moving to the bench. The locations changed from the River Torpart. They started focusing more on the fields, the main field and the little field or the upper field, whatever it is called. They changed it to those fields. We heard from the ITV news reporter that the cameras behind the caravan park was not working at all. So if the CCTVs that are supposed to be there, or the footages to do their job, are not turned on for whatever reason, I would actually say that they were trying to tamper with it. What other reason with so many footages that are supposed to be CCTV footages and dash cam, whatever footages, how could they all be tampered with? How could they all not be working? I take that as a red flag. I live in the UK and I know CCTV cameras. There's always questions with CCTV cameras, especially when crime is involved. When crime is involved, you'll always see that CCTV cameras are not working or something's up. I'm not saying that CCTV cameras are always tampered with, but I'm saying in some reasons they are. And in this reason, I find it fishy, in this case, how many CCTV cameras are not working. But we heard Senior Superintendent Rebecca Smith clearly saying that the people in the caravan park were cooperative, not according to what we saw of Penny. Although nobody should be trespassing her property, I 100% agree with her. Because we're not here to cause confusion. And that is another thing I find strange, because I personally believe that we all are invested in this case to find out what happened to Nicola Bulley. Not to annoy the police, not to annoy the people in Lancashire, because that is disrespectful. Because even that kinds of hinders a way for people to talk to Penny or to talk to anyone else. I know they're not talking anyway, no matter what. But then by what example Curtis did was completely wrong. You do not go into Penny's property, or you do not record Nicola's deceased body. And if you don't believe even that it was Nicola's remains, it could be anyone's. Or it could be it could be maybe something else. But still, just the thought of knowing that they're pulling up a body from the water, I think it's shameless to any human being to be recording. And then on top of that, after a couple of months, after all that damage you did, you go back to St. Michael's. No wonder they're calling the police on Curtis. I have nothing against Curtis, but I think that is really disrespectful, because let's not forget, Nicola was reported missing. The people of Lancashire did not want Nicola to be missing. I'm not talking about a family and a partner, no, I'm talking about the people of Lancashire. They don't deserve this, that every place they go. Why would Curtis go and park his car and start roaming around when it's time for the children to go off school? Isn't it a coincidence that he just saw Paul? I don't believe in coincidence. They said hi to each other. How are we supposed to know that Curtis doesn't know them? How are we supposed to know that the psychic doesn't know Paul? I personally believe the psychic was tipped off. And I've heard many people saying that, because the psychic, to start with, the psychic himself said, and you could see him pointing in the river. He wasn't pointing at the weaves or the reefs or whatever they call it, or the broken tree. He wasn't pointing there. He went down the hill, down the embankment, and he pointed out towards the end of the weaves or the reefs. You could clearly see even where the rope, the police kind of put their rope in a hook or whatever, wherever they hooked it to, which was allegedly the jacket of Nicola Bulley, may she rest in peace. You could see the distance between the rope and the reefs. Nicola wasn't found in the reefs. The quicker we know that, the quicker. I thought most of us understood that from the start. The psychic was told not to say that she was found in the reefs till the 26th of June, because he said that on his Facebook. He said that I'm not allowed to talk about where I found it till the inquest is done. So why are we not told the real truth? That the cameras behind the caravan park was not working. Why weren't we told the truth that some of these so-called witnesses, the woman in the red coat and the yellow coat, wasn't actually even involved? How come we never find about such things? How come we are being misguided 24/7, and then Lancashire Police tells the public and social media not to speculate? We are not speculating. We just want to find out the truth, what happened to Nicola Bulley. Most of us live in the UK. Even if you don't live in the UK, all my viewers are from different countries in the world. And when you think about it, This could be any of us. You could be walking in Atlanta near the river, or California, or Australia, or the UK, or New Zealand, or India, or anywhere. If we are supposed to believe that people are just falling into rivers, how come this is the first river that we've heard somebody fell into from that side, from the bench area? I personally believe that this was all a cover-up, a proper cover-up. Like Peter Folding said, it was a decoy. The reason that I say it was a decoy, when you look at it, when you look at the whole situation, it does not make sense. If Nicola fell in the river, Peter Folding told us that she would have fallen down in the river and should have stayed down till the search teams came and found her. Even if she moved, she wouldn't have moved so far. Peter said a couple of days she would have stayed down. And then when we know in science, when a body is in the water for a couple of days, 6 to 8 days, it bloats up, trigger warning, and it starts floating up. How can none of that happen? They had 23 days, we had 23 days to see that, and nothing happened. Nicola's body did not come up. May she rest in peace, because Nicola was never in the river. Nicola, you could argue and say Nicola was found in the river. No, Nicola was found in the river later when she was put back in the river. When she was put in the river. Actually, sorry, not even put back in the river, because how can you be put back in the river when you were not in the river? Nicola was never in the river. There was no slip marks. Absolutely no slippery marks that somebody slided and fell in the river. No clothing or items of Nicola was found that we're aware of. We saw the police doing thorough searches at the river banks. Inside the river, obviously in the river, the mountain rescue team, the police divers, Peter Folding and his wonderful SGI team, they all came and did a proper search. And nobody found Nicola, because Nicola wasn't in those areas. Nicola would have been found, like Peter Folding said, if she was in those areas. But she was never in the areas. So how could you find somebody who's not in those areas? Like Peter Folding says, somebody had to take the fault, so they gave Peter the fault, which is not right. He lost his place and position as one of the best in searches, landscape and river searches in the northwest of UK. And imagine he offered all his searches for free to the parents, to Nicola's parents. Then we have Paul, who shows no empathy, but he says yet again that he's ruled out. I've never seen a case like this in my life. Somebody fell allegedly in a river, and the partner just goes home and never comes back to search. I found it interesting when Paul said in the interview that the next day he went back to the river with Willow. And he said he wanted to see Willow's expression, but Willow just went running in the field and just playing, like Willow didn't show him anything or any sign of Nicola. My question is, when Paul was called to the bench, he was there only for 20 minutes and then he went back home because the police told him to go home. He didn't come back to the bench. Why not? Isn't he supposed to be searching? If your loved one goes missing, wouldn't you be sitting near the riverbank? Wouldn't you be actually sitting on the bench and picnicking? I would have picnicked in the bench. In fact, I would have brought the whole family along. I would have brought my friends. I would have brought The whole of Lancashire, the whole of people in the social media wants to help. God forbid if anything happened. Or I said, please come and help me. Let's all sit and it's somehow that times it was winter obviously, but I would have just sat there. I would have just sat in the river banks, just praying, praying, praying that my loved one is found. But that didn't happen in this case because Paul wasn't searching. Do you all remember Kylie Rodney's grandfather in Truckee, California? The case where the 16-year-old girl was missing last year, 8th August, and she was found 7 days later, 6 days later, or actually 2 weeks later, I believe, a couple of days later, she was found in the river Prosser. That's in Placer County, Truckee, California. And if you'll remember Kylie's grandfather from her mother's side, her mother's father, he was very fond of her. He used to teach her music and they used to play guitar together. But if you'll remember how the grandfather sat the day Adventures with Purpose, AWP, was searching in the water for Kylie. He sat there hours and hours in the heat, waiting to get any message that his dear Kylie would come home alive. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But that just shows you, when somebody has a loved one, they search and search. But over here, you don't see Paul searching. So that is a red flag. Paul said in his interview that he called Nicola's WhatsApp, he called Nicola's phone, nobody answered. He called the WhatsApp, nobody answered. He called a messenger, nobody answered. Do you remember that? The phone was on. Nicola's phone was on because they managed to see Nicola's picture from the profile, from the wallpaper. So why wasn't that phone used to call 999? Plus the people around the bench definitely had their own phones. It's free to call 999. Wherever you are, even with, even with low coverage, you usually can, if you're lucky, call 999 or 911. Emergency numbers are called for free. And that is the first thing you're supposed to be called when somebody is missing. Especially when they believe that the person fell in the water. Why are they wasting more time? Isn't that strange? Then you have Penny, who goes home, or actually takes a twine, or she takes a rope, ties poor Willow, doesn't bother to look around, doesn't bother to call for help. That is the strangest thing. That's why I believe Penny is red flag number one. Penny and Paul. I'm not backing off with names today, allegedly. How did Penny get all that time to be calling a vet? You can imagine calling the vet, waiting in queue, the vet picks up. Obviously, it's the secretary who will pick up. Even if the vet picks up, it'll be like, you'll be asking questions that, I found this dog, it's very strange, the dog is barking, he's running around, what should I do? The dog, I'm sure the vet will be thinking, why are you calling me? Are you adopting a dog? Is your dog sick? Why are you calling me? So imagine all the time she's wasting to call a vet when she's 79 years old, Penny 80. She could have easily used her common sense and called 999 and let them figure out what happened. So Penny, you know exactly what went on. Because Penny, you have the keys to the back. You have the. Why isn't your camera working, Penny, by the way? The camera, you know, the one behind the camping. No, not the camping. Sorry, Penny. My bad. Why isn't your camera working behind the caravan park? ITV News told us that clearly. So ITV News Penny said that camera would have captured everything that happened in the field. Is that the reason the camera was turned off? Plus the fact that Penny doesn't want to talk to any mainstream news reporters makes it another concern, red flag. I know she must have spoken to the police, but what do we know what she's spoken about? This is a small village. I personally believe everyone knows each other. The police know each other, the bus drivers know each other, the neighbors know each other. It's a small village. 700 people drove in the city that day, in the town, in the small town. And Gosling Road is one of the main roads. And guess what? The main road did not have a CCTV camera that's working. Imagine that. Is that the reason the police don't want people to speculate in the case? Because all their wrongdoings will come up. Because they know automatically people are going to ask, number one, why wasn't the cameras working? Especially in the CCTV near Gosling Road. Second question, it's 10 days. Second question that is important is what happened on the 10th of January? If the police knew that Nicola was high risk and vulnerable, why didn't the police put Nicola in a hospital, example, given her therapy, monitor her, made sure she was all right? Or was there something else? Nothing makes sense here. Because whatever happened on the 10th of January, the police were aware that this is a house we visited before. This is a person who has vulnerabilities, an extreme concern person. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. I have to cut the clip because I have a visitor coming over. But I'll come back later. Rest in peace, Nicola. Bulley, please have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye.